I expect my Republican colleagues to care about this because their constituents certainly care about child sex trafficking, whether it's through the immigration system, like this hearing alleges, or by a U.S. citizen facilitating other powerful U.S. citizens. It's time for them to prove it. Right now, Speaker Johnson is helping Donald Trump block the release of all the files relating to child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. If you want to take a stand against child trafficking, let's do it together.
You know, the bipartisan bill by Representatives Massey and Khanna, they use language credible. Also, I think it's important that this doesn't need to be a witch hunt. We all want transparency on this committee, and you're seeing that process in play in real time right now. And I think it's really important that this is not a witch hunt, that we're talking about credible information, credible files, et cetera. And I believe it models the language that's in the Massey-Khanna bill or discharge petition.
Well, I mean, we'll definitely take a look at that. I think that obviously we want to make sure, I think like all of you, that we have a full release of the Epstein files and that all pertinent information is released. I don't doubt that all of you also want that same thing. I just think it's important that the word credible, I think, adds a concern that who's making the decision of what is actually credible within the actual file.
May I?
Please.
I think it's important that we ensure that we're not releasing unverified documents, that the documents that we are subpoenaing to have released are actually verified. So we've all worked on, I've worked on many issues with women and children. I happen to be a victim of a similar thing that I uncovered about 1 year, 9 months ago. I discovered possible child sexual abuse material in a device from someone in my district. And I reported it to the feds. I reported it to the State Law Enforcement Division, where there is an open and active investigation right now based on that information. And I understand when we are doing an investigation, because of the experience that I've just been through the last 1 year, 9 months, one, protecting victims, which we just did in my previous motion, but now I want to make sure that the information that we do release is verified and is credible. And I think that's fair. And you're watching us. This is democracy in motion. This is a Republican motion. You're seeing us work together to make sure that we're putting verified information, verified documents forward. That is, in my estimation, the best path forward to ensure that this isn't just some political witch hunt, that we're being actually very thoughtful about it with all parties involved.
I appreciate that. And I think our concern, and certainly mine, is that, you know, if it's the White House or anyone else that's making a decision of what's actually credible or not, or the DOJ, we want to...
We as a committee are doing that.
I understand that. I just want to make sure that we receive as much information as possible and that the decision of what is actually credible is not being made by an outside party.
Well, we are making that
The gentleman's time for
have
comment on
Mr.
this
Chairman, may I?
has expired.
May I, Mr. Chairman?
I would ask that in the interest of all members, we're debating one word on an amendment to a motion that we have yet to vote on.
Mr. Chairman, may I have 1 minute?
I recognize Ms. Mace.
We as the Oversight Committee, we have writ authority over our subpoena, over this motion, over the subpoena. So there's no one from the White House in the room today. There's no one from the DOJ in the room. This is us operating as our own legislative vehicle, doing this independently of anybody. And I think we want to be sure that this is structured in a way that is taken seriously, is real, and that it's verified. And we as a committee have that writ authority, Mr. Chairman, as you know. Thank you, and I yield back.
When powerful people exploit children, they must be held accountable for their actions. And if they try to mislead the public and hide evidence, we can't let them get away with it. So we can't allow individuals, especially those at the highest level of our government, to protect child sex traffickers. So today, that's why I will be offering a motion to subpoena the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. Numerous members of this committee and this subcommittee have called for answers and transparency. So let's do something about it. Rep. Biggs has said we want to get to the bottom of it. Rep. Mesa stated, I believe we need answers on Epstein. If 1,000 kids were trafficked, how is there only one accomplice? Rep. Perry has written to Pam Bondi on Epstein saying the American people deserve answers and justice, particularly in matters involving grave allegations of criminality and misconduct by influential figures. Rep. Boebert said we deserve the truth about the Epstein files. Yesterday, our Government Operations Subcommittee approved a motion directing Chairman Comer to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell to appear for a deposition before this committee. But Ms. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year federal prison sentence for her role in sex trafficking children with Jeffrey Epstein. She could have a motivation to protect powerful people to get a lighter sentence. We need the actual Epstein files to get the full truth. So I hope my Republican colleagues will join me in supporting a motion to subpoena the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. With that, pursuant to Clause 2K6 of House Rule 11, I move that the subcommittee issue a subpoena to the Department of Justice for the full, complete, unredacted Epstein files to be delivered concurrently to the majority and minority of the Subcommittee on Federal Law Enforcement of the Committee of the Oversight and Government Reform.
The ranking member has introduced a motion. The committee will hold this motion in abeyance until the end of today's hearing. Let me just announce to the members that we're going to get as much done as we can while votes are about to be called so we can move forward with these proceedings reflective of our rules. I believe Mr. Perry had sought recognition for.
That's right, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have a motion to subpoena the following individuals to expand the full committee's investigation into Ms. Maxwell, and the list reads as follows. William Jefferson Clinton, Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton, James Brian Comey, Loretta Elizabeth Lynch, Eric Himpton Holder Jr., Merrick Brian Garland, Robert Swan Mueller III, William Pelham Barr, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, and Alberto Gonzalez. That's the full list, Mr. Chairman, and that's the motion.
The gentleman has a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Recorded vote is requested.
And Mr. Chair, I think our preference and our request is to have the clean motion that Ms. Lee made to release the Epstein files, which is the vote that we'll be voting for.
Yes, and the gentleman's argument is being discussed. There's a parliamentarian discussion going on between the majority and the minority right now. We're going to follow the rules. In the meantime, votes have been called, and pursuant to the previous order, the subcommittee stands in recess. We'll be returning as fast as possible after votes. So we're going to call it a 1/2 hour window to return after votes. Please motion rather than I believe Mr. Biggs has a motion for amendment of Ms. Lee's motion.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to amend Ms. Lee's motion to include the release of all communications between President Joe Biden and or the Biden administration officials and the Department of Justice related to Jeffrey Epstein.
Motion is offered. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Prior to vote?
Yep. Thank you, sir.
You have an amendment to the amendment?
I do, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Garcia is recognized with an amendment to the amendment that Mr. Biggs has offered
Thank you.
to Ms. Lee's motion.
I move to add a second amendment to the amendment to Mr. Biggs to strike President Joe Biden and or Biden administration officials and replace with, quote, any president or executive branch official, end quote.
We will dispense with Mr. Garcia's motion to amend the amendment of Mr. Biggs before we vote by voice on Mr. Biggs' amendment to Ms. Lee's motion. All those in favor of Mr. Garcia's motion to amend Mr. Biggs' motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it, and the motion is not agreed to.
Recorded vote, please, Mr. Chair.
Recorded vote is requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Gosar. Mr. Biggs. Mr. Biggs votes no. Ms. Mace. Ms. Mace votes no. Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry votes no. Ms. Boebert. Mr. Jack.
No.
Mr. Jack votes no. Ms. Lee. Ms. Lee votes yes. Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell votes yes. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon votes yes. Ms. Presley. Ms. Presley votes yes. Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Mr. Garcia votes yes. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman votes no. Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 5, the nays are 5.
The vote is a tie, the motion fails. We now will dispense with Mr. Biggs' motion to amend the motion of Ms. Lee. All those in favor of Mr. Biggs' amendment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. We will now call up Ms. Lee's,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah.
right here. I move to amend Ms. Lee's motion to include the redacting of names of victims and any personally identifying information of said victims and any possible child sexual abuse material or CSAM. I think it's very important that we protect any potential victims.
That's an amendment to Ms. Lee's motion. All those in favor of Ms. Mesa's amendment to Ms. Lee's motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to.
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Mays?
I move to amend Ms. Lee's motion to add the word credible before the word complete.
Ms. Mays has further amendment to Ms. Lee's motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'd like that, we just want that in writing. We just want to make sure we have the exact change to the motion, please.
I believe she said she's added one word to, can we dispense?
Credible,
The
the
word
word credible after the word complete. Sorry.
We respect the gentleman's query. I'm asking to move forward.
We're going to give that to them.
Okay. A writ has been requested regarding Ms. Mesa's one-word amendment to Ms. Lee's motion. We'll stand by to move forward with the vote while the clerk prepares the writ.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Garcia, you recognize the writ of Ms. Mesa's amendment to Ms. Lee's motion has been distributed. Mr. Garcia, you're recognized for comment.
Yeah, my question, and perhaps it's a question to Ms.
Order.
Thank you. I think adding the word credible, who makes the decision on what is credible? And I'm wondering, Ms. Mace, does the DOJ get an opportunity to make that decision?
I
And so
believe in
think-
the bipartisan bill by Representatives Massey and Khanna, they use language credible. Also, I think it's important that this doesn't need to be a witch hunt. We all want transparency on this committee, and you're seeing that process in play in real time right now. And I think it's really important that this is not a witch hunt, that we're talking about credible information, credible files, et cetera. And I believe it models the language that's in the Massey-Khanna bill, or discharge petition, once it is.
I mean, we'll definitely take a look at that. I think that obviously we want to make sure, I think like all of you, that we have a full release of the Epstein files and that all pertinent information is released. I don't doubt that all of you also want that same thing. I just think it's important that the word credible, I think, adds a concern that who's making the decision of what is actually credible within the actual file.
May I?
Please.
I think it's important that we ensure that we're not releasing unverified documents, that the documents that we are subpoenaing to have released are actually verified. So I've worked on many issues with women and children. I happen to be a victim of a similar thing that I uncovered about 1 year, 9 months ago. I discovered possible child sexual abuse material in a device from someone in my district. And I reported it to the feds. I reported it to the State Law Enforcement Division, where there is an open and active investigation right now based on that information. And I understand when we are doing an investigation, because of the experience that I've just been through the last 1 year, 9 months, one, protecting victims, which we just did in my previous motion, but now I want to make sure that the information that we do release is verified and is credible. And I think that's fair. And you're watching us. This is democracy in motion. This is a Republican motion. You're seeing us work together to make sure that we're putting verified information, verified documents forward. That is, in my estimation, the best path forward to ensure that this isn't just some political witch hunt, that we're being actually very thoughtful about it with all parties involved.
I appreciate that. And I think our concern, and certainly mine, is that, you know, if it's the White House or anyone else that's making a decision of what's actually credible or not, or the DOJ, we want to...
We as a committee are doing that.
I understand that. I just want to make sure that we receive as much information as possible, and that the decision of what is actually credible is not being made by an outside party.
Well, we are making
The
that.
gentleman's time
We
for
have writ-
comment on
Mr.
this
Chairman, may I?
has expired.
May I, Mr. Chairman?
I would ask that, in the interest of all members, we're debating one word on an amendment to a motion that we have yet to vote on.
And I appreciate the back and forth. I know we're gonna vote here real soon. We're scanning the resolution. We don't see right now the word credible in there. Maybe it's there. We haven't seen it yet, but it's not something that we're seeing in the Massey resolution. And so,
I'm a co-sponsor. I thought that was in there. So my apologies to the committee.
I think your initial motion, I think is one that we obviously supported with the redacting of those names and information. I think if we can just move on from that credible word and allow the files to be released as they've intended, I think the motion as is was appropriate.
May I? So you're okay with having unverified, undocumented files released to the public? I mean,
But they're being released to the committee.
To the
They'll be
committee.
released to us.
but you want unverified, undocumented?
Yeah, let's take all the information, Ms. Nace, and then at that point, this committee can make those decisions. You're going to have that information. We'll all have it. As far as what's released to the public is a separate question.
Right. I just think it's very important for this to be taken seriously, that we're using legitimate documents, that they are verified. I'm going to yield to Mr. Biggs, who would like to. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, it's not,
Yep.
I believe that I yielded my time, Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Garcia, so if he wants to yield it back to me.
Yeah, what I would do is
Hold on, I had recognized Ms. Mace. Did Mr. Garcia's?
Yep.
Oh,
on my
Ms.
time.
Simon.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm just.
There's a lot of recognition here.
Thank you, sir. Last piece. I think, look, if you want to adopt the language that's actually in the Massey resolution as it relates to the information and what information we want to get back, I think we'd be okay with that.
Well, let's do that.
Let's do that. We're happy.
mean-
We're happy to do that. Okay. There's language in the Massey resolution that we'll have to write it out. So you'll need to give us some time, but we're happy to do that with our two teams.
All right, Mr. Bell had sought recognition, I believe. We're recognized for comment, Mr. Bell.
I'm not going to withdraw the amendment.
On Ms. Mace, pardon?
I'm not withdrawing the amendment. I'm going to
I
vote on it.
understand. On Ms. Mace's amendment to Ms. Lee's motion, Ms. Mace's amendment being adding the word credible to Ms. Lee's motion. Mr. Bell is recognized, and let us move forward, please.
With respect to how this, the legalese of this is that when you introduce a word like credible, essentially what you're saying is that someone is going to make a decision on what's credible and what's not credible. And when we're talking about due process, and I don't care whose name is in this report, Democrat, Republican, or whomever, the public has a right, folks have a right to know, particularly when we're dealing with folks who have been preying on children. And it's disappointing to me that people on this committee do not want to see all of the information regarding potential trafficking, potential or alleged child preying on children. We saw a amendment that limited to President Biden and his communications, but yet members on this community want to claim that this is not, they don't want a political witch hunt. Well, you just made it a political witch hunt. And what we're saying is, let's just release the files. Let's find out what's in there. Whoever is in there, let's find out what's in there. Let's get to the bottom of it. That's what justice is about. And so it disappoints me, and I'm glad that we're not doing this vote in the middle of the night, as some of these other controversial votes have been brought up. This is in broad daylight, and whoever votes, how you vote, is right here for everyone to see. And so if you want to add language that could potentially protect predators, just know you're going to be held accountable for that, and we're not going to forget about it, because I don't care if my mother's name was in there. I'm sorry, Mom, for throwing you in there. We need to find out what the information is in that document, because keep in mind, there might be other victims. There might be other victims out there who may not feel empowered to stand up because they don't feel that we're supporting them. And so
Mr. Chairman.
All right, I'll yield my time. I'll yield my time back to the ranking
I
member.
think we're ready to vote, and then we'll move forward.
Mr. Chairman. No, no, the importance of the word.
Mr. Biggs is recognized, yields time to Ms. Mace.
It is important that I am currently now, I mean, I have actively reported child sexual abuse material that I uncovered 1 year, 9 months ago, November 5th, 2023. And I'm working with victims. And so to sit here and say that members of this committee, like myself, don't want information out about possible crimes against children, we're literally voting on that right now. It's going to be a bipartisan vote. So I take issue with that. But also, we're in an environment, a political environment, where the Steele dossier was touted out there as something that was credible. It wasn't credible. We're out here, we were told that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't credible. When it ended up, it was credible. And so, you know, we're in this environment, and I want to be as transparent as possible. You're going to see me vote for this and the other Republicans on this subcommittee. But it's important that we treat this with the dignity, the respect, the transparency, and that we're not going down the conspiracy rabbit hole that our country has been through for the last 4 years. Like, we're trying to instill trust in an institution. And regardless of what's in the files, who's in the files, all of that, we want to, I think, as a body, on this committee, this subcommittee, show that we can be trusted and that we're not going to play these games. And I think it's just really important that we're talking about verified documents. That's why I want the word credible in there. I am living this nightmare in real time with some of my constituents because of evidence that I personally uncovered. And I'm fighting like hell, tooth and nail, for those victims. And I can't tell you, when you see possible child sexual abuse material, what it does to your soul and how awful. And you're right there with me, shaking your head. I can't tell you how devastating it is, how devastating it's been to me, the trauma that I've endured, the trauma, vicarious trauma that I've endured dealing with victims. So I take this issue very seriously. And I want to see us do this work, but do it in a way that's not going to be tainted. I'm sick of the political games. I'm sick of it. Let's do something that's real. Let's do something that's right. Let's do something that's verified so that we can be trusted. No one trusts us up here, but we're doing the work now, and that's why I'm very passionate about this and doing it the right way. Not the political way, not the easy way, not the way that we're going to go, that some people in this committee might go fundraise on this afterwards, how everyone's eager to take this vote to go make money for their campaigns next year or use it as a wedge in a political campaign in the midterms next year. Let's do it real. Let's do it real. Let's do it right. Let's do it with dignity. Let's do it with verified information and documents and do it the right way for the American people. Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
The gentlelady yields. Mr. Biggs yields back his time. We call it Ms. Mace's amendment number 2 for vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of chairs, the ayes have it.
Recorded vote, please.
Recorded vote is called for. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Gosar. Mr. Biggs. Mr. Biggs votes aye. Ms. Mace. Ms. Mace votes aye. Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry votes aye. Ms. Boebert. Mr. Jack.
Aye.
Mr. Jack votes aye. Ms. Lee. No. Ms. Lee votes no. Mr. Bell.
No.
Mr. Bell votes no. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon votes no. Ms. Presley. Ms. Presley votes no. Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia votes no. Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman votes aye.
The clerk will read the tally.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 5, the nays are 5.
There being a tie, the ayes have it. The motion fails. There being a tie, the motion fails. And now we will be calling up Ms. Lee's motion as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. In the opinion of the, pardon? In the opinion of the chair, the no has it.
Recorded vote, sir.
Recorded vote is called for. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Gosar. Mr. Biggs. Ms. Mace. Ms. Mace votes aye. Mr. Perry? Mr. Perry votes aye. Ms. Boebert? Mr. Jack?
Aye.
Mr. Jack votes aye. Ms. Lee? Ms. Lee votes yes. Mr. Bell?
Aye.
Mr. Bell votes aye. Ms. Simon? Ms. Simon votes aye. Ms. Presley? Ms. Presley votes aye. Mr. Garcia?
Aye.
Mr. Garcia votes aye. Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman votes no. Mr. Biggs is not recorded. Mr. Biggs votes nay. Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 8, the nays are 2.
The subcommittee stands adjourned.